This is why. When you don't come across as honest and open, people cannot trust you. Open communication is like an army that communicates. An army with no communication and no line of communication is essentially isolated and have no support from the rest of the campaign. And that tends to create lower morale in the troops, and frustration grows. And even if you give orders, people are not going to fully follow it because they feel disjointed. And this relates to relationships. When you're not good at communicating, a lot of repressed things start to bubble up, and you start to have other problems, like almost like stress isn't in and of itself isn't a disease, but having too much stress consistently and chronically will cause other problems in your body, other inflammations and other disbalances in your hormones and in your endocrine system, I believe, right? I don't know, fucking talking about that. And that happens in a relationship when you're not a good communicator, when you can't communicate difficult things, the relationship will crumble and will die eventually. It's 100% the most important thing in any relationship is communication. There's really no other more powerful one. The next one is being serious when it's appropriate. Serious. That means you gotta stop being goofy all the time. Stop trying to be funny. Stop trying to be Mr. Talkative, always trying to get a sense of attention, always trying to be happy, always assuming that niceness breeds niceness. No. You got to learn when to have serious moments, serious conversations, when you're not being goofy all the time. For example, perfect example is Goku from Dragon Ball Z. Goku was a goofy guy. Don't get me wrong. He's a goofy motherfucker, right? But one of the things about Goku that's so powerful is that when Goku gets serious, he gets serious. And when Goku gets serious, people can feel it. Because he could be goofy so much that when he's serious, people could sense it. It's such a contrast. So you gotta have your serious side, and this is one of those things that you gotta balance it. If you're too serious like Vegeta, then you gotta have your momentary moments of goofiness and lightheartedness. But if you're too goofy sometimes, like a freaking, like Goofy doing backflips and shit, then you gotta have your more serious side to counterbalance, right? So it's not just seriousness that is attractive. No, it's not that. It's just that people need to see two sides. We humans have an understanding that people have multiple sides to their personality. And there's something deeply wired in humans that they need to see both sides to fully respect you. And there's something in humans that they know that when they see one side, they know that there's another side lurking, and people will poke at you to find out what that is. People are just curious creatures, and people poke to see what's going on inside of you, you know? The next one, positive and calm. A positive and calm attitude. Nothing's worse than being with someone who's always negative, always complaining, because emotions are infectious. This is the thing. Negative people are more than a dozen out in the world. And we should have sympathy for those who are born in rough circumstances and develop negative attitudes because of it. But there are those who attract it with their negative mindset. And you have to learn to avoid those types of people because they will change you from within rather than the opposite if you spend too much time around them, right? And these types of people who are very negative present themselves as victims. So you can see how they so that you can't see how they sabotage themselves. And by you associating with them, you're going to develop their types of mindset. Because negative people will influence you with their negative mindset, right? And those types of people, you cannot try to help them. They won't change you. They're like a drowning man who will drown you if you try to help them, right? So what you have to do is, if you have that type of mindset, is to surround yourself with people with strong character. Don't associate with people who have a negative mindset. Associate with the generous, associate with the positive, associate with the resilient, right? And if you do that, it'll change your attitude. But generally speaking, those types of negative attitudes, anyone who's worth a cent will leave you if you have that type of negative, dark, constrictive attitude. The next one is positive sexual attitude. If you anyone who uses sex as a way to shame people, like for example, like people who what's that, kink shame, disgusting people. Like for example, people who shame women for having like really crazy fantasies, right? Like I've like women, oh, choke me. Like some guys legit think that's weird. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, how is that weird? Oh man, she's gonna no, like, dude, like you it just means you don't know people. Like people are very, like for example, where the fuck do you think, where the hell do you think the schoolgirl fantasy comes from, people? Some dark, like it's, I tell people, man, like don't judge people's fantasies, man, because if you judge people's fantasies, it gets really dark for everyone. It gets dark for everyone. There was one girl who was like, break into the house and throw me on the bed. I'm like, what the fuck? You want me to play a criminal? Another girl was like, what was some crazy request, man? So, like, she was like, buy a fake gun and point it at me while we do it. I'm like, what in the world? Or like, wear a clown mask and let's do it when you have a clown mask. I'm like, what in the world is going on? And this is the thing, is that a lot of people get with people who are very judgmental about other people's like desires, and the reason why that is because they're ignorant. One, they have a dark side and they're suppressing it. Nice try, motherfucker. Right? You're hiding something. That's why you're so uncomfortable with it. And two, they're just super judgmental, and being with them, it's not gonna be a fun experience, right? You got to be with someone who understands nature, human nature, that we are contradictory, that what we suppress usually comes out in the sex side, and also what's culturally taboo is usually attractive in the bedroom. It's just how it is, and that applies to almost everyone. What is culturally taboo is attractive. And yes, what's culturally taboo is not. For example, like the age gap. I get a lot of people talking about age gap, where they've infantilized women, freaking 22-year-old women for wanting to date a 38-year-old super hyper successful man, right? Society infantilizes women. It's kind of insane, to be honest with you. I watch a lot of debates, and it's kind of crazy how people literally infantilize women, how and say, oh, the poor woman, she's being taken advantage of. I'm like, first of all, a 23 or 22-year-old woman develops mentally, is more mature than a man. At least in terms of impulse control, women have way more control over their amygdala and over their frontal cortex, a lot more than men. Men are wild motherfuckers. Men are impulsive creatures. Women are not. So this infantilization of women, it just blows my mind, and it just goes against everything that I teach on this channel. How these women talk, oh, what about you manipulating the poor little girl that's 23 years old and that looks really hot and knows what the fuck she's doing? What are we going to do with her? I'm like, she knows what the hell she... Anyways, man, it's just a lot of infantilization of women that is so disempowering, and it comes from a lot of women too. What I believe is that people just don't like seeing older guys with younger women. That just don't like seeing that. Society just doesn't like old, powerful men. It's just how that works. We just don't like them. Okay? And so we don't like them, seeing them with the highest prize in our society, and that's a hot, young, beautiful woman. Of legal age, obviously, people. Which is funny, right? Like when you look at the let's find out what are the most search porn things, right? Most searched porn in United States. Right? Okay, so what we have here. Yeah. So they got double P right here. Let's see what Cali has. Asian. Look at Cali, right? They have an Asian fetish, people. Arizona has a deep T. Twerking, that's like the least vile one. Giantness, anal, hard, quickie, sex doll, natural, thick Latinas in Texas. Okay, all right. Divorced, naked women, BBC in Chicago, in Florida, big booty, interracial here, threesomes here. In New York City, foot jobs, lesbian yoga. What cartoon? Oh my God. Okay, all right. Penis pump, what? Dirty talk, BBW, yeah. Um, Trans. Maryland has a lot of trans rim jobs. Hot wife. Yeah, these are things that a lot of people will deny that they search for it. They're gonna deny. They're gonna deny it, right? Obviously, you don't want someone who's fucking raising their hands and volunteering to tell people their kinks, but you want someone who's accepting of that, because people who are not accepting of other people's sexuality tend to be very judgmental people and people you just don't want to be with, honestly. The next one is attitude of comparison. This one is a freaking big detriment. When you're dating someone and they're always comparing you to their ex, and they always have that wondering eye, like, oh, that's a better version of Father Alex right there. You know, Father Alex looks like freaking Lenny Kravitz, but he's not muscular enough to be like Lenny, right? I totally get it. Yeah, Lenny Kravitz is my better looking version, to be honest with you. But when you're with someone who's always comparing themselves, oh, you know, my ex did that. Oh, my ex did that. Or even mentally comparing themselves, you're going to sense it. You're just going to sense it. It's going to be, you're going to feel like less than. You're going to feel like you can't satisfy them. You're going to feel like there's just something about them that they're not fully present around you. That's something that you could sense, and it does affect your self-esteem. And people like that are just people who are highly insecure. They derive their sense of their self-esteem more from other people's opinion than from themselves, and they're always going to blame you why they're not happy, because they think that the reason why they're not happy is because they don't have certain things, when in reality your unhappiness is a function of how your mind works, a function of how you manage, of how you deal with pleasure and aversion, pretty much like that. And you fix that through developing a meditation practice, people. Developing a meditation practice will fix that issue. All right, if you guys enjoy these videos about stoicism, dating, relationships, self-help, moving up in life, I would recommend you guys check out some of my courses that I have for sale. These courses are courses for men and women. For example, Nice Girl, Nice Guy is a course about how to become more assertive. Natural Chemistry is a course for women that I have on how to develop strong relationships. Dark Game is a controversial course that I have for guys on how to attract women in their life and keep it. It's not as dark as it seems, but we do talk about some dark psychology in here. Psychological Game of Attraction is a course that we made for women who are single. And as you see, we have a course about how to develop charisma, emotional mastery, which is a course about how to develop a meditation practice and how to improve your emotional life, to become more resilient, to not let rejection hit you so hard, to be able to bounce back from failure. I have a course called Nice Guy, which is a course for guys who are single and guys who want to be able to develop more assertiveness training, right? Most of these courses come at $99. And there you could also purchase the bundle where you guys can purchase all of the courses in one go at a discounted rate, right? We have a bundle for women and a bundle for men. So click in the description down below to check them out. You could browse around and see the courses that you like. And if you don't like them, you guys can ask for a 30-day money-back guarantee, and I'll give you guys the money back, okay? And in fact, we actually have a new one for women right now we're developing. It's called The Feminine Woman. So if you're a woman watching, this course is specifically to help women become more feminine, to embrace their feminine while embracing their masculine energy. And I'm actually going to make a course for that, like that for men, which is called the Masculine Man, which is a course on how to develop masculinity and develop masculine energy, to attract women in your life, to attract business success in your life, to be able to be better socializing, to read people better. It's truly an all-around course. So if you guys want to check out those courses, click on the description down below where it says purchase the courses, and I'll see you guys inside. Bye-bye.